Hello, welcome to the Mom Entrepreneur Playbook. My name is Natalie Peterson. I am the host of this show. And today, in episode number 4, we are talking about secrets to saying no more often so that you can free up more of your time. Yes, it is possible to find more time in your day. And especially if you are a mom in business and you are looking for more time to either start the business you love or perhaps scale the business that you've already created. Freeing up your time is absolutely vital if you're going to create more space to grow your business. And so there's a few mindset shifts that need to take place before you're able to start saying no. And I think in the last episode, hopefully you listened to that, I talked about looking at your essential commitments versus your non-essential commitments. And once you can identify in your day where some of those non-essential commitments are, it becomes a little bit easier to start crossing things off your calendar, to start recognizing where you can say no more often. And this isn't necessarily an easy shift to make. So give yourself time with this. As I go through some of these secrets, you're going to have to practice some of the things that I talk about before it's going to feel like you, before it feels like it really is working in your life, because people have to get used to it. Right? People have to get used to you saying no. People have to get used to you setting certain boundaries, especially if you are right now the go-to person. If you are right now somebody who the people in your life just expect to say yes to everything. So it will be a little bit uncomfortable for you. It'll also be a little bit uncomfortable for them, and that's okay. The people that love you, the people that mean the most to you and are meant to be in your life, they will allow you to grow and change. But it does take some time. It does take a little bit of kind of almost retraining people what to expect from you and coaching people in a very subtle way on how to treat you and how to respond to your needs as well. So, as I said, first thing you want to do is start to review your essential and non-essential commitments that you have right now in your life. And once you've identified some of the non-essentials, it's time to start practicing getting them off of your list. And so the best thing you can do for yourself, this is like the number one secret that is going to change your life. I know it changed mine. I used to be the person that would just knee-jerk always say yes. I never wanted to miss any opportunities that were being presented to me. I didn't want to let people down. I was really uncomfortable saying no, but all that led to was me being overbooked, stretched too thin, and then ultimately I would let people down anyway because of the fact that I was overcommitted. Eventually I would have to turn around and turn down the opportunity, and that strained the relationship more than if I would have just said no in the first place, right? So the thing that you can start doing right now today that will help you practice, and it kind of eases you in to saying no more often, is using the response when you're being asked to do something, when you're being asked to commit to something or help with something or take on a new project or change the deadline for a client, whatever it is, right? If your boundaries are being pushed and it puts you in that place where you're not really comfortable, but you feel like you have to say yes, change your response to, let me think about that and get back to you. It's that simple, right? So it's, let me think about that and I'll get back to you. It allows you the time and space to number one, really check your schedule and your calendar, because you might even see right away, wow, there is no way that I can get this done. I'm already double booked during that time as it is, or this client deadline is already here. There's no way I can fit another deadline in. But perhaps you might also just think about what's being asked of you and decide that for very good reasons that may be just personal to you, you don't want to do it. You don't want to say yes. You don't want to take on that commitment because of the impact that it will have in your life, to your family and to your well-being. And so by responding and saying, let me think about it and get back to you, it allows you a little bit of a cushion so you don't have to just say that quick no. That'll get easier with time. But it also allows you to take that step back and really consider it. Because if yes is your knee-jerk response, You're just so used to saying yes, it comes out as a habit. You have to disrupt that autopilot. And by disrupting your autopilot and instead saying something a little softer, but yet still giving you time, I all but guarantee once you step away from the situation, you are going to automatically realize and know that absolutely I cannot do this, and that no is the best answer. And when you know for a fact that taking this on is not a good decision, that you don't have the time, saying no is a lot easier. So this gives you time to think about it. The other thing that I want you to think about and consider is that saying no is a complete sentence. Saying no is a complete answer. I want you to practice when you say no or turn something down, don't explain why. Resist the urge or the need to justify your response to someone, because it's really not necessary. It's really not necessary. And so what you can do is just start with, let me think about it and get back to you. The next step, because saying no is a complete sentence, the next step is going to be coming up with some phrases that are in your voice that you're comfortable with, that allow you to say no right away, or allow you to say no once you've had a chance to think about it. And they can be something like, thank you for considering me, but I just have too much on my plate right now. Right? That simple. Or, I have a lot going on. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it, but thanks for inviting me. Or even, let's see, my project list is really full right now, but how about we circle back around to this in a month? So there's all these ways that you can say no, but your response is short, it's polite, but most importantly, it's to the point. It doesn't leave a lot of room for interpretation. It also doesn't leave you on your heels feeling like you have to justify yourself, which also then leads you to feeling guilty about saying no. And again, this is going to take practice. It's not something that, I'm going to try these tips today and everything's going to just feel great and I'm going to be able to change it all at once. For some of you, that might be the case. This might just be the magic you needed or the push you needed. But if you're somebody that needs to give it time, allow yourself to do that. Just remind yourself as you go through this process of practicing saying no, that you're doing it to protect your energy. You're doing it to protect your business, to protect your clients, to protect your family. You're doing it so that you don't get stretched too thin, because what happens when you're stretched too thin? Right? You don't perform at your best. You don't do your best work. You also miss out on opportunities to pursue things that are truly important to you. And in the next episode, I'm going to talk more from a business strategy standpoint of if you're a mom entrepreneur who maybe you have a business already and it's kind of humming along, but you've been looking for an opportunity to scale or start something new or just build upon what you already have, but you are struggling to find the time because you feel so scattered. Or maybe you're a hopeful mom entrepreneur that you've had a business idea for a while, or perhaps you played around with it, but some of the technical aspects of actually getting started are holding you back. I'm going to talk more about what to do to get started in the next episode, but getting a hold of your time and making yourself a priority, which is what we've been talking about for the last 4 episodes now. If you can't do that, if you can't protect your time, learn to say no, learn to do what is most important to you and protect that aspect of the business, it's not going to go very far. So there's a certain amount of saying no that's also a business decision and a business strategy for you. And you can think about it as a business decision for your family unit, because you are running that too. But you can also think about saying no and turning down opportunities as a business decision. And it's something that it's not personal. I just have to make this decision for me and for my business in order to move forward. Now, before I wrap up for the day, one note about saying no, if this is a business conversation, right? Because we have, I think, been brought up in this culture to believe that the customer is always right. Anything the customer wants, we have to be on call all the time. And while that can be true in certain scenarios, and there's certain times that we go above and beyond when it feels like it's stretching us a bit, we can't do that all the time. We can't be on call taking on more than we can handle for every client, or again, we're going to burn out, our business is going to fizzle, we're not going to be able to pursue the projects that we want. So when saying no to clients, one of the things that you can keep as far as a response or a phrase, number one, saying, let me think about it and get back to you, absolutely works in a client scenario, right? Whether it's they're looking to reschedule something, or they want to change the scope of the project last minute. Give yourself the time and the space to think about what is being asked of you and if you have built that into your budget. But the second piece is, let's say you have a client scenario and all of a sudden they change the scope of the project and they want something ASAP. They want something tomorrow, but your priority list for them looks different. Ask them, which part of the project should I deprioritize? And then just give the time and space and silence for them to respond to you. Ask them, what part of this project should I deprioritize then? Because here's what we were on task to do, and you'd like to change the scope, which we can do, but how should we deprioritize something else to change the deadline? And a lot of times when I have those conversations and we're able to talk it out that way, we can come to a really comfortable solution for both parties, where we're meeting the needs of our clients, but also meeting our own needs. Don't make it a habit of routinely biting off more than you can chew just to please the client in the moment, because you have to remember delivery of the end result. You have to also remember, what is it going to look like next time when I take on a project for this particular client, or when I take on a project for a different client. You have to set expectations and also boundaries around your clients, even though you might be running a business or a small business where, when you love what you do, sometimes clients can feel like friends and close to you. But it's important to make sure that you have a way to reprioritize things if it begins to be too much for you. So I hope that you have gained some valuable tools today. I hope you can go out and start using them right away. As you practice saying no, it may be uncomfortable and you may start to second guess yourself in what other people are thinking of you. I encourage you to take a deep breath when that happens, shake it off. Remember that you are doing the very best you can in the moment. And if you're entering into the situation doing what you think is right, then what someone else thinks about you setting a boundary or saying no, it really isn't any of your business, right? It's not any of your business. It's not necessarily something that you even need to worry about, because the people that are going to judge you for setting these boundaries, that it likely has very little to do with you. So just remember, you're doing these things for the right reasons. You're doing it so that you can set up a business that is scalable, profitable, and can serve more people. So being able to say no and give yourself that freedom to move forward, it is truly going to serve more people in the end. So I hope this is helpful for you. Remember to tune in next week, episode number 5. We're going to be talking about kickstarting your business or re-energizing your business if it's just something that it's something you've been meaning to do for a while. And we're going to talk a little bit business strategy, the technical part of starting a business, and how to overcome some of the fears that come along with getting in over your head from a tech standpoint or strategy standpoint. It's so important to systemize your business, and I'll be giving you some how-tos and some strategy on that next week. But for now, practice saying no, continue to prioritize yourself and protect your energy, and we'll see you real soon.